And then somebody has a milestone in the class today. Anybody guess who it is? It is your 500th class, Adam. Can you believe that? Today is your 500th class ever. That's nuts. We got to get you in teacher training so you can teach the classes. That's so cool. Well, congratulations for reaching your 500th class, and thank you for being here. Let's get started with our yoga today. Come into child's pose. Nice experienced group here to work with. That's always fun when I look around the room and see that. So child's pose, toes together, knees open, arms forward, and your forehead down to your mat. This is the time for the sigh of the relief, the deep breath in, open up your mouth, have a sigh, and just feel good that you got yourself to the right place at the right time this afternoon. Then your slow, steady breath. So expanding on your inhales and holding it, and softening the exhale, holding and sustaining it so it's a nice long exhale. Breathe in and fill up, and hold that, and then slowly let the air out and empty. Sometimes when it's a pretty experienced group in the room, you guys can physically make it through without really breathing your Ujjayi breath. So I'm going to challenge you today to keep your attention on your breath. On your next inhale, lift your body up into downward facing dog. Keep your breath flowing while you build the pose. Bend and straighten your knees, organize the foundation of your hands and your feet. Shake out your neck and let your head hang heavy and long. And then just start to breathe and feel good in your skin today. Set your gaze on the back center of your mat and commit to focusing through the whole 90 minutes or the whole 60 minutes. One more breath here. Then look up to the front of your mat and step up to the front of your mat. When you get there, lift up halfway and forward fold. Keep your breath flowing. Inhales, pauses, exhales, and pause. And set the foundation of your feet in this pose. Shake your head. Let your head keep hanging. Let it keep drawing your spine out long. Now press your feet down into the mat. Come all the way up to standing. Reach up to the ceiling. Look up to the ceiling. And then bring your hands into prayer position and pause. Set an intention for your practice. 3 times we'll chant together. Take a deep breath in. Inhale and reach up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway. High plank to low plank as you exhale. Inhale, straighten your arms. Lift your chest, upward dog. Exhale, move back, downward facing dog. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, deep breath in. Exhale, bend your knees, move up to your hands. Then lift up halfway, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, reach for the ceiling, stretch up, look, fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway, low plank on your exhale. Keep a strong pit of the belly as you lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Give it 3 breaths. Inhale. Long, steady exhale. 2 more. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Last time. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Reach up. Extended mountain pose. Stretch for the ceiling. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Stretch your belly up to your chin. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Long, steady breath out. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bend your knees. jump to your hands. Halfway lift, flat back, forward fold. Now last round, sun salutation A, reach up, stretch, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, lift your chest, downward facing dog. 2 more breaths. Get ready for the last one. Inhale, exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. We'll take chair pose. Sit back, reach your arms forward, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop to your low plank. Upward facing dog, lift and stretch. Downward facing dog, step your right foot forward, lunge. Deep, deep lunge. Lift up and look up. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left side step and lunge. Inhale, look up, reach. Exhale, hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now take your breaths. I always love getting to this point in the practice. I get a sense already by now what there is to work on, where there'll be space, and already there's an initial sense of relief. In this pose, take a last breath. When you finish the exhale, move up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, sit back, reach your arms, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, move to the low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Anchor your foot, lift and stretch. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward dog, downward facing dog, left side step. Inhale, fill your lungs and reach. Exhale, hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, breathe here. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the shapes of the poses help the breath, whether it's the inhale or the exhale. Arms reaching up helps to fill. Arms coming down help to empty. Watch for that in your next sun salutation. Take one more breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees. Jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose. Let your arm raising pull the air in and then fold. Let it push the air out. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge. When you inhale, look up and reach. And at the exhale, bring your hands back down and take the low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side now. Just use the breath and take that force and have it move you. Hands down, chaturanga. Never any need to do more work than needed. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Let a breath go. We're going to do one more round. 2 more breaths here. Exhale. And then we've got one more. Breath in. Bend your knees. Jump forward. Last sun salutation B. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sit back. Reach your arms. Look up. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. See how the stretch gives you more room for breath. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward and lunge. Warrior 1. Lift the pit of your belly and reach. Chaturanga empty. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side step and lunge. Inhale, look up, stretch up, reach. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take one breath and exhale. Raise your right leg into the air, bend your knee and flip the pose over. Just keep your breath flowing as you go through these motions. Get your 2 feet on the floor. See what there is to see as you reach to the ceiling and then overhead, maybe until your fingers touch in the wheel pose. Get into the edge of the stretch and take a few breaths. Let just the breathing alone open up more space in your body. One more breath. Side plank. Your right hand can go to the mat, face the long left side of the mat, and build the intensity. Lately, I'm working with hugging my bottom knee into my chest. 3 more breaths. 2 more. When you finish the last one, high plank to low. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog, and then it's the left leg in the air. Lift it up, bend your knee, and flip the pose over. Keep your breath flowing the whole time you're flipping. Whether it's a bent elbow, a reaching arm, or all the way into the wheel pose, taking the circles, whatever it is, make more space. Add more stability. Side plank, left hand down, face the long right side of your mat, stack your body up. Stretch open through your chest and breathe. A little more chest toward the ceiling for a few of you, just a little more up. Yes. Stay there, take your breath, high plank to low. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, step your right foot forward to crescent lunge. Just go with the rhythm of your breath, arms overhead. Then set your gaze and start settling into your feet, the pit of your belly, your hands. Keep your breath flowing. Deep lunge, stretch up and go back. Keep your breath flowing. One more inhale. Exhale, hands to prayer and twist. Left elbow, right knee. Once the elbow's settled, activate your back leg. Maximum length and stretch from your heel to the crown of your head. So more action in your back leg, Adam, if you can. So you get the sense of these two parts going in two directions. Yes. Open your arms if you're ready for that and stretch those two parts in opposite directions. Whole body twisted but stretching. Keep on breathing. Roll open, Abby. So from here to here, make more length, these two spaces. Yes. Yes. One more inhale. Stay here. Exhale. Reach up, crescent lunge. Open up, warrior two. Keep your breath flowing. While you make this transition, miles go longer, even a little longer. So have where you have it and where you usually go, and then see what else is available. Press the back edge of your back foot down. I'm looking at your foot, Philomena. Stretch and tilt. Reach for the floor and reach for the ceiling. So keep stretching this inner thigh line out to your knee. Yes, from your knee back into your hip, those two directions. 3 breaths then to just enjoy it, because I know you're enjoying it. 2 more. Deep, deep lunge. Last breath. Really good. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side. Crescent lunge. I know it feels good. You don't really want to do it when you're doing it, but you have these poses, these same poses, and from that sameness, your body recognizing it, you can watch your own development and growth. But you have to come to every pose every time, putting the principles in and then seeing what's available. So steady breathing. You got it. Try a little longer, Lena. Yes. Just like that. Stretch for the ceiling and even stretch back just like that. Keep breathing and lunging deep. Fire up your back leg if you've got it, that back leg. It'll stretch your hips so much. Reach. Then hands to prayer and twist. Right elbow to your left knee. Anchor it. Yeah, you guys are really getting excellent point-to-point stretching. Our adaptation training is what teaches that. From one point in your body to the other point, and then all the points in between. You can open your arms. So you've got the point from your heel to your chest or the crown of your head. And then you've got one thumb through your chest to the other thumb. Breathe and stretch. 2 more breaths. Full expression, full reach. Then reach up to the crescent lunge, open to warrior two. Wide stance in a deep lunge. Keep your breath flowing. Good. Go a little bit longer even here. Yes. Get your shoulders set, stretch your arms wide, and tilt, extended side angle. Deep, deep lunge. So just like Philomena was feeling on the last side, from the groin to the inside of the knee, that's a lengthening out. On the back side of the knee, back into the hip, that's a drawing in sensation. All the while, careful not to let your right hip press forward. So keep the right hip just collected back. Yes. One more breath. Feel the difference like that? It's a little more challenging, but it locks in. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take one breath in. Open your mouth, sigh, then move up to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold, chair twist, sit back into the chair, organize your feet, hands to prayer. Sit back even deeper and then twist right or left elbow to your right knee. Keep on breathing. Keep your two knees bending. So that means the right one probably comes forward a little more, the left one back a little bit more. Keep breathing. Once you get your legs stretched, you get this chance to stretch your whole spine really long. And then just keep breathing into your back left ribs. That's it. Left hip crease back, left armpit forward. It seems like you'd have to really turn your gaze more and twist more, but really it's lengthening more. Yes. 2 more breaths right in there, Philomena. Last one. Chair pose, forward fold. Hook your big toes and stretch down and just feel what you feel through your whole body. One side did a lot of stretching. The other side's anticipating that. Just see what's going on for you at this stage. Let's twist the other way now. Chair pose, hands to prayer. Now you'll be taking your right elbow to your left knee. So take your time through your breaths and set this up. Sit so your hips reach to the space behind you. There you go. Stretch right through here, Charles. Let this space stretch. Keep breathing. Steady exhale. Yep. Breath in. Exhale. 2 more. Calm, patient breath. You got 1 more. At the end of this exhale, you twist, then reach up to chair pose. Forward fold. Gorilla pose. So palms under your feet from the front. Keep some weight on the inside of your foot. So you can see how it was wrapping out to the baby toe. Yep. Bring it in so it's balanced between the 4 corners. It changes how the whole pose opens up your lower back by just getting that balance in your feet. Can you feel that difference a little bit, Adam? Kind of yes, kind of no. It's a little tricky to notice, but once you do, then you'll always notice it. What does it look like? Well, let the weight shift out to your baby toe and see how that feels in your lower back, in the way your thigh bones come into your pelvis, and then press into your big toe. You might feel from your big toe all the way up your inner thigh line, like that part of your strength locking in. Let's take crow pose. Hands on the floor, knees set wide. You can take any variation, any inversion you want here. Goddess squat, a seated crow pose, handstand. It's all up to you. Pick the one that works in your practice. You've got crow pose right here, goddess squat there. Take your crow and breathe 3 more breaths. 2 more. Last one, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Let's have a variation now on the crow pose that you can give a try to, and we'll be a little gentle with this one. So you could take your crow pose. I'm not so interested about how you're getting into it, and you could take it from downward dog. So shorten the stance. One of the setup things you're going to need is your hands about this far back your mat, so there's room up here. And then taking the crow pose from the downward dog, we'll try to give ourselves a sense of jumping into the crow. You can try that a few times. Just jump back and forth. And then once you do get to the crow pose, once you're here, press the floor, lift the pit of your belly. Ideally, you land softly and bring your head to the ground. Just see about coming to here and lifting back up. So crow pose to the tripod, back to the crow pose. You can jump into the crow pose or just walk into it. Really what we're looking for is the core strength to land softly on your head, then softly on your head, and then right back into the crow pose. To get back into it, a little squeeze in from your knees, and yes, lift to the pit of the belly. And then try it again. Try it, squeeze in, Philomena. Try it again. Give it one more try. Let's see what you've got there, Abby. Lift the pit of your belly. And you may not be ready to drop your head. You might just need to think about it. Okay, Miles, lift your belly. Good. I saw yours, Adam. That's good. Everybody got a chance at it. Okay, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. A full breath out, look forward and jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Come up to standing, arms overhead. Right side eagle pose. Wrap your right arm, squat, wrap your right leg and set your gaze and breathe. And let the whole back of your shoulders and your pelvis be open. So squat down, squeeze your legs together. Keep on breathing. Lately, I keep thinking of a little more intertwining of my arms and my legs and a down pull of my legs and an up pull in my arms. Keep your gaze, step out, switch sides. Left arm under, left leg over. Steady breathing. Sit a little deeper and drag your fingertips an inch higher. Step out, hug your right knee into your chest and keep your gaze set. Once you get locked in and square in your hips, let's give yourself this for right now. Press against your inner knee with your, I'm going to say the back of your palm so you don't end up holding your leg. So I don't want to see you guys doing this. Press your back of the hand against your inner knee and stand tall. See if you can go from an open setup of your pose to like a feeling of it locks into place by pressing against your hand. Then you can take a breath in and exhale, press your heel forward and just keep pressing against this knee. See if you can get a real sense of the inner thigh hugging into the hand. Good. Let your hip drop down if you can. So it's instead of it hiked up, it just settles down and in. Then hug your knee into your chest. Reach back for airplane pose. We'll have to do a workshop soon where we're working on that quality of locking into core and how it relates to inversions. Keep your breath flowing. Hands to prayer position, half moon. Left arm down, right arm to the ceiling. Stretch your arms apart. Steady, steady breathing. And stretch open through your chest. Yep, can you get a feeling of your arm bones being on your back? Steady breathing. One more breath here. Forward fold and hang. Then come all the way up to standing. Hug your left knee into your chest. Use your right hand on your right hip, the left inside hand, the back of your hand, to press against your knee and stand tall. While you're pressing, you can pull your arm bone to the back of your body. You can pull your thigh bone to the back of your body. You'll have this chance to drag this back. Yeah, and the whole thing locks into square. And stand up tall, right up through the center of your chest. Keep breathing. Good, I see that. Keep breathing. Drag this back and stand up tall here. Yep, just like that. You'll feel your hip just settles. Maybe you can extend your knee and press your heel forward. Stay really tall. Then hug your knee into your chest. Open up to airplane pose. Steady breathing. You got it. Strong legs and lift your chest up. Miles, can you lift your chest? Yep, just like that. Hands to prayer, half moon. Right hand down, left arm up. Your leg in the air will steer the whole thing. Press your heel back and let this open up like this. There you go. I'm going to get you a block just in case it helps. Lift your leg a little higher. Forward fold and hang. Sway from side to side. Come on up to standing. Arms overhead. Standing bow pose. Bend your knee, hold your ankle from the inside, left arm in the air. Start with your knees together and stretch, and then push forward and back. Stretch as much as you can from one hand through your chest to the other hand. Little softness in your standing knee. And then pull your body open. Start to kick up while your standing foot presses down. Let your shoulders go and you kick up. Step out and switch sides. Right in the rhythm of your breath with your gaze set, left hand to your left inner ankle. The pit of your belly, that part that's in the front of your pelvis, in the front, it just can hug into your body. That'll give you the support for the rest of your body to be free to reach. Press down in your big toe, up to the ceiling in your big toe. Whole body stretching. And then step out, feet on the floor, and take a breath. We're going to definitely take a second set. Right hand to your right inner ankle and get ready to go. Your body's more prepared in the second round than it was in the first because it had the first. Adam, take your knee straight back. Careful of it not coming over here toward Miles. Even a little bit. Yep, you got it. Kick, a little more kick, Miles. Your reach is taking over a little bit. Balance it with kick. Nice, Lena. Step out, switch sides. Left side, left ankle. Steady gaze and breathe, and then stretch. Stretch your arms apart. And step out. Tree pose. Left foot down, put the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. Palms pressing together, or reach like you're reaching to touch the ceiling. So not a casual reach, but a reach with an expectation of taking off. One more breath. Switch sides. Right foot down, left foot up. Sometimes this tree pose in the end can just be the culmination of everything. You can get so much stretch, and that there's a change in the breathing somehow. There's a change in how much the breath fills you up and how much your ribs expand. See if there's some access to that. Yes, you've done so much work. Reach up and stretch, and then just breathe and see what happens. Step out and come to the front of your mat. Once you get to the front, inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, triangle pose. So put your foot right inside of your hand and anchor it. Angling your back foot and then work your straight leg so you get a deep, deep hip crease and stretch. You can take your feet even longer apart, Miles. Give yourself a little bit more space if you can between feet. And you can touch down on the block. It can be all the way back here even, believe it or not. And then you're just looking to make space right here. So right on this underside of your torso, not like that. Keep that down and keep your big toe pressing and just let it happen because this gets deeper and deeper. Yep, you're getting it. You can feel all that stretch, can't you? Not here. That's a tricky spot to feel it. That's the stability. Yes. And then when your hand is here, you start getting this opening. Not up, but through here like a back bend. Yes, like upward dog. Come on up to standing. Face the long, get a cramp? Along left side of your back and forward fold. And then walk your fingertips forward and get the stretch from fingertips through hip crease, all the way through each one of your ribs. Such a useful stretch at this point in the practice before we get to the back bending to be able to gain space between each one of your ribs. So physically set it up so you're as long as you can be and then breathe into it. You still feeling that spot, Miles? Okay. Okay. Good. Right through every one of your ribs, just length and breathe into it. Can you feel all of that opening up? Good. all of the space along your ribs. It's like the best feeling. And in a minute, when we're back bending, you'll have mobility and space to work. Come on back up to standing. We'll take the standing single leg forward fold. Start with your hands in your hip creases and lift your chest, and then start hinging. Work from the ball of your front foot's big toe and pull this right hip back. Get stretch in your leg and stretch in your spine. Keep stretching and folding until your body has had what it needs, and stop wherever you need to stop. You'll feel it maybe in the back of your front leg. You may even feel it through your ribs. It's fine to bring your fingertips down to blocks. If you find yourself bracing by locking your front leg and kind of rounding your back, soften your front knee. Let your hips go back and get long. There you go. Twisting triangle now. Set it up, left hand to the block or floor. Hips back, a long flat back, and just start to turn and see what you can build in your body. That's it. Front foot, press your big toe down. Keep dragging the hip crease back, and then just start opening. Stretch and breathe into your back left ribs. Like a tug of war, keep stretching your back left ribs. And twisting, if there's twist. Keep breathing and letting this just sink into your body and open your chest. One more breath in. Twist on your exhale. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Stretch back. Just even out the two sides of your body. One just had a lot of work and the next side's anticipating it. Left side triangle, step forward. Long base, a long foundation, a lot of space for the pose. Go a little longer. You're not even on a long mat, Charles, and you're tall, so take that whole thing up. Yes. And breathe. Keep letting the hip crease deepen without throwing the hip toward Charles, though, the back one. Yeah. So it's all in here. Feel, so your hips stay with your torso. And then this stays long. That gets your hamstring, doesn't it? One more breath here. Come on up to standing. Face the long right side of your mat with a strap or just binding your hands. Arms around behind your back and interlace. Then lift your chest up and forward fold. Steady breathing. When you take a quick peek down at your heels, ensure that rather than your toes turning outward toward the sides of your mat, the short sides, that if anything, it's your heels turning outward. When your hands get spilled overhead behind you, there's a whole new kind of access to breathing into your back ribs. If your hands won't spill, just use a strap to give you a little more space. Yep, we just don't want your hands to fall overhead like you're jump roping. Breathe. See what you can become aware of in your back ribs while you breathe. Lately, as I practice, I'm just so interested in more space in my back. And it's interesting what it's changing. Okay, come on up. Face the front of your mat. Get ready for the standing single leg forward fold. We're working with hands on the hips today. Big toe, press it down, and then stretch. Big toe down, sitting bone back, get the stretch all the way down through the inner thigh line. Maybe hands to the floor and just breathe. Work with what there is showing up to work with. Keep your breath flowing. Even here, try for some length in your side body. Yes, like that, Miles, exactly. Your hamstrings are on fire. Keep breathing. Sometimes extra access can be gained by bringing your fingertips to blocks. One for each hand can give you just enough to get a little more mobility in your hamstrings and your hips than twisting triangle. Left hand maybe to your hip and twist. Charles, your hamstrings are like, why haven't we done yoga in a while? That's it. Keep breathing. Let there still be some weight in the back foot. Yep, and chest across the room from us. Keep dragging your chest away from your hips. Yep, breathe. And then breathe into your back right ribs. Breathe right into your back right rib cage. 2 more breaths. Right into my hand. It may not move at all, but just go for it. Hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. Stretch back. This has got to be a good stretch here. You just did so much good for your back. All right, come to a high plank and lower down to your belly on your mat. And interlace your hands at your low back. Turn your toes under like you do in the push-up. And if not holding hands, hold the strap. If you're doing the strap, just press out behind you and pull away on the strap. And then lift. So we're looking for heels back, hands back, tailbone back, opposite chest forward, side waist long, and then just breathing. You're setting up a pattern for the back bends in your body. Anchor that pattern and come back down. You can shake your hips, wiggle them from side to side. We'll take a second set. So with the bound hands, with a strap or just hand to hand, press back. We want to create that we get this quality that the front of your body is lifting all the way up to the chin and the back of the body from the shoulders down the heels are moving back, but it's such a dynamic, unbroken circle of energy moving through you. You'll need to lift the pit of your belly to make sure that the center of that point-to-point action is happening. Come on down. Then bend your knees, reach back for your ankles for floor bow pose. Just right away inside the rhythm of your breath, reach back. Let your feet pull your shoulders back. See if you can get the same kind of stretch that you're able to access an upward facing dog through the front of your spine. Breathe. Get into the edge of the pose. A sigh is a great tool, Abby. And then just see what you see here and come on down. You can wave your feet from side to side or just wiggle your hips from side to side. Check out your lower back if you have any sense of having compressed it. Let's do something differently on this round, second set. So what could you do differently? Maybe not kick as high. Maybe engage your lower abdominals a little bit more. Maybe not let your knees flare out wide. When they flare out wide, a lot of the compression goes into your lower back. When I'm working on a back bend, these setup back bends, I try to work on whatever alignment it takes in my feet and my thighs, built from the forward folds we've done, to keep my lower back broad. Then there's room for your tailbone to descend and take on a big back bend. Come on down. Feet side to side. There was once this fairly well-known yoga teacher. His style was called Anusara, and I can remember like 15 years ago taking some class in a big crowded ballroom in New York from him, and he was the quirkiest character for a yoga teacher. He looked like your gym teacher in like those polyester bike shorts that gym teachers sometimes wear. He talked about his mom all the time. It's like the weird, the whole scene. And then he'd have these older ladies come to his classes and he'd get them into the craziest poses. And it was really in that class from him. Like he had them doing handstands and huge back bends because he would just incrementally, inch by inch, talk them through it. And all of a sudden their body was in the right shape. Let's do a second set of that. Floor bow. Bend your knees, reach back and hold your ankles. So to get a big back bend, sometimes we're like, I'm not flexible. Well, sometimes it's your shoulders that are tight. Sometimes it's your quads and your hamstrings. But a lot of times it's the alignment. And a lot of times how we're trying to get a back bend is by sinking, when really we want stretching. One more breath. Come on down. All right, wave your feet from side to side. Hands by your lowest rib, upward facing dog. Now this is your last real upward facing dog. So get this sense of from your pubic bone to your chin, so much stretch. This is the one pose I can really get my lowest abdominal stretching, downward facing dog. This is like neutralizing, getting a blank slate here, camel pose. Knees on the ground, hands in your back pockets, the whole front of your body, it should lift, the back of your body. There's a descending energy like right down through the tail of your spine toward the floor. So get the lift maximum, and then see if your lift moves into opening. As your back body doesn't collapse and crunch, it just descends. See if you can tell what that means in your body. That might just be words and you're just like, I don't even get that. But as I look at you, it looks like you do get it. Next, inhale, lift your chest up and out of the pose, hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Stretch back. Okay, you can jump through and let's get ready for bridge pose. On your flat back, bend your knees. Feet on the floor. Bridge pose, press down and come up. So keep all of the things. Different actions are at stake now that we've shifted where gravity presses on the pose. But you still need your parallel feet where all four corners are pressing, because that establishes that the back of your pelvis stays broad and there's room for the tailbone to descend. Shoulders broad and press them onto the back of your body, onto the mat. You can bring your right knee into your chest without changing your left foot, right toes up to the ceiling, and just see if you can get the same press down of one toe as you press up the other toe, and then hug in. Remember we did the standing leg raises where we hugged? Here's where that makes a difference. And come on down. You can come all the way out and move your knees from side to side, and then move up into your bridge again. And once you're in your bridge, left knee into your chest. Bring your left knee into your chest from the bridge, toes up to the ceiling. And then once you've got your toes reaching up to the ceiling, just imagine that there's some pressure on the inside of your right knee and on the inside of the, don't you push me that hard, you were ready. And come on down. Knees side to side. She's like, I got you. Come on over here. All right, get ready for wheel pose. And maybe you're staying in bridge, but I like to start in bridge. So I like to get into the bridge and get my shoulder set, then set the hands wide and on the floor and get ready for wheel. I never know what's going to happen in wheel until I get to it. There are days where I'm like, I am so tight, this isn't going to work. And I get up there and I discover it's completely the opposite. Find the inside of your heel, the inside of your big toe, and press it down. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. Let's set up the next one. Now that our bodies are warm, let's get into the rhythm of the up and down. So set up the next one. Hands, feet on the floor, press down and come on up. Thumb presses, big toes press. Those inner lines, they press. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. Set up the next one. Hands, feet on the floor, press down, rise up. Imagine there are some hands that are just pressing against your inside elbow and you hug back against it. Hug back with your elbows if you can, Miles, and your upper back will broaden. Yeah, tuck your chin and come down. Did you feel that at all? Knees side to side. Next one, press down, rise up, set it up. On your mark, get set, and go. All the way up into your wheel. Breathe here. Elbows like they're hugging in, knees like they're hugging in. Tuck your chin and come on down. We're going to go up 2 more times. We won't stay up for long. Set it up. Press down, rise up. All the way up. Get up into your pose and take a breath. You've got it. A little hugging right here with your elbows. Just see if, yeah, and let your back get more broad as you hug. Hug a little more and come on down. Knees side to side. We've got 1 more to go. Here's your last one. Body's so ready. Get up into the pose. Take a sigh and let it get a little softer, a little easier. Any of the efforting that you can let go of, let it go and see what opened up to have that be so. When you're finished, Supta Baddha Konasana, soles together, knees open. When you get into the Supta Baddha Konasana, soles together, knees open, just breathe and let yourself have an experience of this moment, this pose right now. Then dead bug pose. A little stretch for your back body. You might have access to deeper spots in your back that you wouldn't have without all that work we just did. Or if maybe you overworked it, there might be some relief in this pose. Then legs straight up in the air. Flex your feet. Curl up. So you're folded at your rib cage. Curl up and reach in front of you. And then we're going to pulse 10 times. So you won't have to lay your head back down and fling it up. It's just going to stay here. Breathe in and exhale. You're pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Every time your belly sinks deeper, 2, 1. Then let your right leg hover. And for a moment, put your right palm on your left inner knee and press back, whatever you need to do. So no squeezing and hugging, just give some pressure. And then you're pulsing here. 10, 9, 8, 7. Imagine something's pressing against the hovering leg. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees. Do the other side. You can press against your knee. So you can see Philomena showing you here, right inside the knee or inside the thigh. And then just imagine the other leg has something, your whole body just squared up. And then just pulse, whether you reach up or you reach forward, whatever makes it easiest. In this one, we're looking to see that your body doesn't rock. Hip to hip, rib to rib, it stays anchored. Finish all 10 of the pulses and then relax and hug your knees. You can rock from head to tail several times and then stay on your back. We'll do pigeon pose lying on the back. Once you're lying flat on your back, you can bend your knees, put your right ankle on your left thigh and flex your ankle. And then curl up with your right hand, reach through your legs, left hand outside of your left leg, and hold interlaced hands behind your thigh or over your shin, but keep your shin parallel to the floor. And then relax your head onto your block or the floor and draw your left knee into your left shoulder. You should still access the stretching in your right hip like this. Yep. If I have to stay curled up with my head like that, I love to put the block under my head so I don't have to hold it up. Sometimes I don't realize how much I strain my neck to do other things, and that never ends up good. Switch sides. Active ankles. Pull your knee back toward your shoulder. Then 2 legs up in the air for either waterfall pose, and you could have a broad block underneath of your hips. So it'd be long across underneath both of your hips. Or you can roll your feet overhead for plow pose, up to you. Softness in your knees is just fine, but from the side, it's just ankles over your hips. You can move your feet back just a tad, Adam. That's it. Your hands, they could stay over your belly. They could relax in like a W shape if your body opens up like that. But let something about the pose be easy, whether it's waterfall, plow, or shoulder stand. If you're in a shoulder stand, come to plow and then ultimately onto your flat back. Once everyone is on your flat back, you can hug your knees into your chest. Take the blocks away from under your back. Once you are knees into the chest, keep your right knee and stretch your left leg long on your mat. So just right knee into your chest, left leg long, and take your knee across your body to your left, but maybe rest it on a block if you still have one available. And then from your head down through your body to your ankle below you, that can be one straight line. And then you can open up and look to the right. So it's a simple twist, one leg straight, one leg bent. Once you get settled into the twist, you can take a breath in and a sigh. You might even do that a couple of times to let your body just soften. If you can really be in the shape, but letting go of any extra efforting, this pose can really offer some opening up. Come back to the center and hug your knees into your chest. And keep your left leg straight, your right leg out long on the floor. And take your left knee across your body and aim for a block underneath of your knee or your shin so that your hips from the bird's eye view straight down through, they just go straight down. So they're stacked up one on top of the other and they press just straight down through. Steady breathing. A couple of sighs and let your body soften. Supta Baddha Konasana. So on your flat back, soles of your feet together, knees open wide. You might want to scoot your pelvis down toward your heels until you find that you're not flattening out your lumbar spine, but it's in its natural position. It feels very supported and natural. You have the cold eye towel nearby in studio. Let your bones get settled down into the floor. Then when you're in this Supta Baddha Konasana, take a deep breath in and sigh and let your body settle. And then stretch your legs out long and wide for Shavasana. Whole body at ease. Once you get set up and your body feels comfortable, just put your attention on your toes. Bless you. You might wiggle them or squeeze them and take a breath. Then just soften and let go of your toes. And then take your attention through your feet and into your ankles. And soften. And then attention in your shins up to your knees. And feel any sensation that's there. And then let it go. Bring your attention into your thighs. And soften your thighs. And then into your pelvis, the bones and the muscles and the organs inside of your pelvis. And let go. And then you're through your soft belly, your waist, your belly that's rising and falling as you breathe. Put your attention there. And soften. Bring your attention into your ribs and your chest and your shoulders. Feel that area expand and relax as you breathe. And feel it soften. For your arms and your elbows to your wrists, soften. and in your palms and through to each one of your fingertips. Appreciate any sensations in your fingertips. And let go. And then take your attention from your fingertips through your soft palms, your relaxed arms and shoulders into your neck. And let your neck soften. All the way up into your jaw, your lips and teeth and the roof of your mouth. Let your jaw soften all the way out to your ears and the tips of your ears. And then through your temples and into your skull, all the way into your forehead at the very center. Let the whole top of your head soften. Now begin to deepen your breathing. Let it fill up your body more with each inhale and empty more clearly with each exhale until you can take a deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. Another deep breath. This time as you exhale, squeeze your fingers and your toes and roll your head from side to side. And hug your knees into your chest. Roll to your side. Get settled on your side. Then use your hands to push yourself up into a sitting position. Arrange your body so it feels comfortable. Use your breath and your arms to sweep up and overhead and fill up and inhale. Exhale, bring your hands into prayer position. Eyes closed or settle your gaze on just one point and take a moment to just feel what you're feeling in your body as a result of your practice. Feel what you feel physically, how it feels emotionally, and then set an intention for the rest of your day. 3 times, let's chant together. Take a deep breath in. Bring your thumb knuckles to your forehead and inhale. Exhale. Namaste. Good work. Happy 500th class, Adam. I know, you can't believe that, can you? We have our Himalayan Institute retreat coming up and finally available for sale. I think there's even a few early bird special prices allowed. It's September 15th through 18th. And what's really cool about this particular retreat, come on Thursday evening, leave Sunday after breakfast. There's some hiking, lots of yoga, and we get a little hour and a half or so. I think it's an hour and a half long, if you remember. I don't remember. Little lecture each night, sitting in chairs or on the floor and learning. And they're so great at teaching us about some of the more historical aspects of yoga, where the theories and philosophies come from. So we'll learn more about the 8 limbs of yoga, some of those other parts. And then the end session, I'll bring it together and show you how it is our methodology. This is a pretty cool thing. If you're interested in coming, it's in September. Have a good day.